guys, welcome back to the channel. So, are tins becoming a luxury or not? Believe this or not guys, this video actually brought on by Tesco's whole beans in water. If you know me, if you've been following my little hauls, generally I really don't like having tinned vegetables. It's something that I really don't enjoy particularly eating because of the consistency and basically flavor. However, as a prepper, I still have to have some of the tins just in case of emergency. And believe this or not, the other day actually I resorted to consuming one of those beans. They're not particularly too bad, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of olive oil, warm them up and they actually taste half a-okay. So I only had 6 of those in stock guys, and believe this or not, the price last time I purchased them was 80p. It's written on there. So I decided to pop into Tesco's amongst few things and pick up some of those beans to replenish my stock. And believe this or not guys, the price of those beans is now £1.65. I'm sure there's been about 6 or 7 months since I bought that for 80p, so you can imagine this actually more than doubled. I had a look and actually just generally paid attention to the tins, because my idea as well was to actually get some tinned potatoes for the obvious reasons, and tinned carrots. I actually almost named the video "Are you potato ready?" But anyway, there is few potatoes left, right? Not huge amount. And what really astonished me guys is actually the sheer prices of the tinned vegetables and how little choice were there. I know we discussed guys having the choices as one of those things, that the choices of things are actually disappearing, but the prices on the tinned vegetables is absolutely ridiculous. Like, taking this for the account, okay, this is doubled in price in say just over 6 months. The things like sweet corn is now 92p and it used to be 70p a couple of months back. Things like a ratatouille, again, I remember doing the video, I managed to pick it up for like 99 pence. It's like £1.65. So things, tins are pretty much double. So my point is, I remember the days, and I'm pretty sure guys you would agree, where the tins were kind of the foods that sat on the shelves and they were really cheap, and they generally really for the people that potentially couldn't afford to eat, fresh foods. However, not everything. We all resort to the tins for one reason or the other. However, generally, this is the consensus to what it used to be like. And you remember you pick up a tin of beans for like 9 or 6p, whatever it was. And generally, vegetables were as cheap as chips, but now there isn't. And that's what really brought me on to say, the whole idea of this video, are we literally making tins now a luxury? Is that because of the prepping thing, everybody's buying and sort of purchasing the stuff in the tins because it's a thing to do? Is that why now suddenly they're literally increasing the prices by, tenfold type thing? At the same time as the choices, I honestly, in the Tesco's, my local Tesco's, you used to have a good half an aisle of vegetables. It was literally about a meter long. And all the options we had, guys, is just ratatouille, sweet corn and multiple things, sweet peas, beans, obviously potatoes and carrots, which was kind of, again, makes me think, well, what on earth is actually going on there? And it's not just because of the food shortages, like carrot shortages and stuff right now, because obviously this is kind of, it hasn't, the effects haven't quite gotten here as yet, but it just got me thinking. But anyway, I popped into the few shops like I normally do just to pick up a couple of bits and bobs, and of course keep an eye on the prices. And unfortunately, tins are not the only thing that unfortunately increased the price. If I just quickly take you through, guys, okay, if you wanted to hang around to have a watch, but the tin potatoes, okay, are still 38p, which is really surprising. And I'm actually still surprised that people haven't cleared them. It was not a lot in the Tesco's, I must say. It wasn't like even a full shelf. I think it was 3 crates, but they were there and they're still available to buy. I resorted to buying some carrots, and I really dislike tinned carrots. But because I lost my allotments and I wasn't planning on growing carrots, which I'll have to do a little bit now, I decided to pick up some of the carrots. And unlike the sliced ones, I decided to go for whole baby carrots. I'm sure they're just going to be just as mushy as the other ones, but beggars can be choosers, so I made that choice. And they are currently 50p for a little tin. So another thing, guys, I picked up, and again, I haven't actually even tried that, but it's a mixed vegetables and water. Again, there's a little tin, you've got the sweet peas, carrots, that was, again, it was 55p, so I'll give that one a go. We're just going to go on the shelf, and or just sit there until, hopefully, well, emergency or not, I don't know. And a little must I say this, guys, that I have not bought any of those. I remember buying this at 80p, and I was like, don't really want to pay this because they're horrible and they don't taste particularly that great, and they're super easy to grow, but out of principle I thought let's have some just in case. And yes, I refused to pay £1.65 for the tin of green beans, so I bought some green bean seeds and I'm going to be planting some green beans just in case in the garden. Time-wise, we should be still a-okay for that, but the principle is there. 165 for a tin of green beans is not a-okay. This is absolutely out of order. So anyway, next thing, guys, from Tesco's is another thing I found is actually original dried skimmed milk. I haven't seen that one before, and I normally buy the full fat one, but we all know that the semi-skimmed actually will last indefinitely if you pack this in a mile bag, and that was £2.99, which I thought wasn't that bad. Next thing, right, let's cover the Asda. Okay, literally I picked up a couple of bits specifically. I went initially to actually find some chocolate. As we all know, guys, the shortages of cocoa means that we're going to be seeing the shortages of cocoa and chocolate. And believe this or not, right, okay, Lidl, Tesco's have not had any of their smart price bottom line chocolates that used to be 36p. So Asda had some, but the Asda chocolates are now 58 pence, 58p. So that's gone up from 36p to 58p in a very short amount of time. And as I mentioned, none of the other supermarkets had it, which is really, really peculiar. Another thing in Asda I spotted was little beans and sausages. They were half-size tins and they were reduced from 50p to 20p, so I picked those up. I think it's a good idea, especially having a little one, just in case. They're kind of like a single portion, so you don't have to waste the whole tin if you don't want to in an emergency situation. So 20p was a good deal. Another thing that I found I quite like and prefer at the moment, we're talking about the cheese replacements, and rather than buying the cheese sauce granules, I found that this actually tastes far better. So you just add on some milk basically, but you can make milk from your powder if you have to. But that by far actually produces much more cheesier result than the ones in the granules. So anyway, the Asda ones, they're doing this currently at 55p. So I've got a few of those to top up my current stock. And the last thing I've got from Asda is shit hot dogs. They're doing them on a deal for two of them for £2.50, so £1.25, and they are for the branded version if you wish. They are better than the ones in the tins, and you can't beat the shit hot dog sometimes, so you already know that's okay. I love my shit hot dog. So anyway, there was a bargain, so I got a couple of those. Right, and so that accomplishes the Asda. So Lidl, again, the reason I wanted to pick up some of the cocoa powder, okay, for the same reason I wanted to buy chocolate. They're £1.99 for 250 grams. It doesn't seem to be too bad, so I've got a couple of those. And at the same time, I actually spotted that they did their fruit and nut on the deal with the Lidl Club card at 65 pence, which I thought, to be fair, if you compare the total shit one and a bit better one for just a little bit more, kind of really much more opted out for this. But in a cooking, if you don't need the obviously raisins and nuts inside it, then you have to opt out for that. Of course, usual with Lidl, rices and pastas and oats, which I've not brought in there, is pointless. Prices are still the same, which I'm really, really happy. Again, one of you mentioned, and we kind of thought I had a little bit of sort of debate. We're thinking that if the shortages of potatoes, sort of the whiffed out there gets there will be shortage of potatoes and vegetables. Whether people will resort on stockpiling potentially rices and pasta just in a panic because they think they can't get potatoes, I don't know. But it's something to bear in mind if you just started prepping recently. If you're kind of a little bit short on, maybe consider just getting some of this, or tinned potatoes or mashed potatoes, whatever you feel like you want to have. So another thing I picked up from Lidl is the malt vinegar. I make my own ACV vinegar, and I have a lot of normal distilled vinegar, but malt vinegar is really good, and so I got one of those, and I keep just getting them because we do go through it. And one of the other things I quite going to idea of my sort of, the bread preparedness. I know it sounds really dodgy, but the breadsticks, believe this or not, guys, they should pretty much last like a really, really long time. I had some breadsticks opened in the pack. They normally come in two. It's been sat in a cupboard, and it's actually been open for about a year. Do you know what? They didn't even go stale. So that kind of shows you that even in the packaging, maybe even unsealed, they'll probably last you a good couple of years past that. And chances are the worst going to happen, they just go a bit soft and not crunchy. But at the end of the day, in the SHTF scenario, you just chew on a crunchy stick, or chew on a not a crunchy stick, and that'll be absolutely fine. And that's that, right? Oh yeah, another one from Lidl. I've spotted those. They're massive black beans in a tin, right? This was £1.29. It was in my little clearance pile. It wasn't 59p, but they were reduced, and 820 grams. So it's kind of like 3 tins for the, in the one big tin. I know it's a bit, goes against kind of the portioning, but they worked out to be quite a bit cheaper. So I thought, well, and the date on those was 2028, which I think was absolutely amazing. So I got a couple of those. And another thing I picked up, guys, is in a Home Bargains, if you watched my other videos or not. They actually topped up a stock of those, which I'm really super happy they did. Is the potato rosties, 2 different types. They are 99p Home Bargains. They're Milo bagged, is great, and they have a long date. So if you're looking to have a substitute for your potatoes, this is a really good one. They should taste really nice, and it's a massive difference between like tin potato and that kind of thing. They actually taste like the texture of potato, which is really good. So that's that, guys. Really, that accomplishes my little shop, but the principle of that was actually the tins, the prices of tins and vegetables. I just can't get my head around why suddenly the prices of tins and vegetables are increasing like so much. I think, just generally my opinion, that it is because of the prepping scene is kind of booming a little bit. People sort of buying more. They're just choosing to basically up the game and just to basically rip us off, really. That's my thought anyway. Please comment below, because I do want to hear, guys, what you think on the whole idea, and just let me know whether, again, maybe just my supermarket that was suddenly having very little of veg available, tinned veg, or is it happening everywhere? So yeah, please comment down below, guys. Thank you for watching. I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.